Yeah.
Maybe sit here. It's okay, maybe. Do you want me to stay up here? Do you want me to stay up here? Okay. Hi. What? In here. Ted's always like diagonally behind him. Yeah. Because I feel like this is the correct order. Very DIY of me. Okay, handwriting. Wow. That's like really aesthetic. Thank you, question mark? Okay, can I not stand up here? Yeah.
Of course.
Hey, Daddy, what's the plan after this?
1:30 boats
Where you want to do that?
outside.
That's all right.
Sun will be out.
Huh?
Sun will be out.
So, cold is still cold, brother.
Bundle up.
I did. Except for my hat. I think I lost my hat yesterday.
I think all the members are in the green room now.
Yeah, I saw it. That was funny. I made it. See, I made a smart investment. I just have a sixth sense for weather press conferences. They do gotta go. So true. No, no, no. Well, yes, but also the more relevant point is, they don't, like, they have a good 20, 25 minutes before they actually have to go. There's some pretty good there.
Hello, everyone. Honored as always to be joined by Vice Chair Ted Lieu and also Representatives Sarah McBride and Shamari Figures, new members to Congress who have been amazing advocates for their communities, for their regions, and honored to have them here. We're here today because Donald Trump and House Republicans are failing the American people. They're failing to address the healthcare crisis that they've created. They're failing to lower costs, and they're failing to make life more affordable for hardworking Americans. Families are struggling to get by, yet Republicans continue to be more focused on on the bidding of their billionaire class friends than helping people that they represent. Ahead of the holidays, Americans are seeing prices go up for gifts and groceries, and the family gatherings that they are planning are becoming more expensive. On top of that, Republicans have no real plan to ensure Americans' health care premiums don't skyrocket before the end of the year. They highlighted that and stood for that even just moments ago. For months, House Democrats have been sounding the alarm that Republicans need to work with us on extending the Affordable Care Act tax credits to keep health care costs low for American families. And we've put forward a plan that has the support of every single member of the Democratic caucus. We only need 4 Republicans to join with us in signing a discharge petition to prevent the American people from losing their health care coverage. because we know when people don't have health care coverage, they don't stop getting sick. They don't stop needing medication. They don't stop needing to take their kids to the doctor. If they can't afford to go to the doctor, they won't see one, or they'll go to the emergency room, which is the highest cost, most expensive way to get care and limits our already burdened healthcare system. Which Republicans will be brave enough to join us? We just don't know. The American people can't afford inaction from Republicans, and it's time that they put politics aside and do the right thing. Lower costs, save healthcare, put the American people first. Now turn it over to Vice Chair Ted Lieu.
Thank you, Chairman Aguilar, and I am so honored to be here today with two of our amazing freshmen, Shamari Figures and Sarah McBride. I also want to note that we had an election yesterday in America, and I want to congratulate Eric Gisler in Georgia for flipping a state House district. And just to give you some context, Democrats lost that district last term by 22 points. He won it last night. And I want to congratulate Eileen Higgins, the incoming mayor of Miami. She flipped that seat from red to blue, and she overperformed by 20 points. She is the first Democrat in nearly 30 years who's going to be mayor of Miami. And I dare Florida Republicans to try mid-decade redistricting, because we're going to win the seats that you have to weaken among Republican incumbents if you try this. Now, we have an affordability crisis in America. Electricity costs are surging, grocery prices continue to increase, and healthcare costs are skyrocketing. What is the President of the United States focused on? I'm just going to read you one of his many posts on social media. This one was from 2 days ago. The only reason Marjorie Trader Brown, green turns brown under stress, went bad is that she was jilted by the President of the United States. Certainly not the first time she has been jilted. Too much work, not enough time, and her ideas are now really bad. She sort of reminds me of a rotten apple. Marjorie is not America First or MAGA because nobody could have changed her views so fast, and her new views are those of a very dumb person. That was proven last night when washed-up, Trump-hating 60 Minutes correspondent Leslie Stahl, who still owes me an apology from when she attacked me on the show with serious conviction that Hunter Biden's laptop from hell was produced by Russia, not Hunter himself, totally proven wrong, interviewed a very poorly prepared traitor who in her confusion made many really stupid statements. My real problem with the show, however, wasn't the low IQ traitor. It was that the new ownership of 60 Minutes Paramount would allow a show like this to air. They are no better than the old ownership who just paid me millions of dollars for fake reporting about your favorite president, me. Since they bought it, 60 Minutes has actually gotten worse. Oh well, far worse things can happen. P.S. I hereby demand a complete and total apology, though far too late to be meaningful, from Leslie Stahl in 60 Minutes for her incorrect and libelous statements about Hunter's laptop, President DJT. Oh, now is my great honor to introduce an amazing freshman from Alabama, the great Representative Shamari Figures.
Thank you, Congressman Lieu. Look, we're in the middle of a healthcare crisis, and the stakes could not be higher. Millions of Americans rely on healthcare subsidies to be able to afford coverage, and 50,000 of those Americans are located in my district in Alabama. And it's not just a talking point back home. This is real life for people. I represent one of the poorest districts in the country. The individual median income in my district is just north of $32,000. To say that another way, 50% of the wage earners in my district earn less than $32,000. And so when we talk about 50,000 people's healthcare premiums on average increasing by a little more than double in a district where the income is just north of $32,000 on average, it's more than a talking point. It's something that hits people in real ways in real life. It's not something people can afford. And beyond the personal side of it, my district as a whole is one of the worst for healthcare access and outcomes in the country. I have 13 counties in my district. You can only deliver babies in 2 of the 13. 10 of the 13 counties either have hospitals that have closed, are in the process of converting to REHs so they don't close, or are on literal financial life support under the threat of closure. And by the way, the largest hospital in my state capital of Montgomery, which I also represent, which is one of only 2 hospitals in that county, is in the middle of a bankruptcy. And so healthcare access is something that is deeply personal to my district, and to make the cost of healthcare unaffordable for people, completely unaffordable, to put it completely out of reach for people is something that is irresponsible and something that we have the ability to be able to stop, because it's going to put more stress on the hospitals that we still have, and people are going to continue to suffer some of the worst healthcare outcomes, because all of that I just said is all in a district that has the 3rd lowest life expectancy in America. And so this is something that we have to get Republicans on board to fix. We just need a few. We just need a few to join us to do the right thing. We need a few to step up to the plate, to show that they understand and they know that supporting life doesn't end at birth. It is something that we can do and something that we need to do here in Congress to make sure that the American people, in the richest nation that the world has ever known, that healthcare coverage, healthcare access is not something that is a luxury that is only available to the wealthy, and something that is only available to the few. And so I am proud to stand here with my colleagues to bring up this issue once again, yet again, something that we have been pressuring now for since I've been here in Congress for the better part of the last 10 or 11 months, but something that obviously Democrats have been pushing for decades. And we're going to continue to wave this flag. We're going to continue to beat this drum. We're going to continue to do this on behalf of the constituents in Alabama's 2nd Congressional District and those across this country, because it's the right thing to do. And with that, I'll turn it over to Representative Sarah McBride.
Thank you so much to my fellow freshman representative Figures, and thank you so much, Chair Aguilar and Vice Chair Lieu, for inviting us today. Across Delaware and around the country, families are being hit from every direction, at the grocery store, at the pharmacy, and of course now in their healthcare premiums. In 2024, Donald Trump promised the American people that he would lower costs on day one. But we all know that whether it's his business partners, people who worked for him, or the American people, the one through line throughout Donald Trump's life is that he has never met a promise that he was not willing to break. Because 1 year into the 2nd Trump presidency, all we have are a litany of broken promises and billionaire tax breaks. This affordability crisis is not a hoax. It is a choice by congressional Republicans and by Donald Trump. A choice to impose a tariff tax on small businesses and consumers. A choice to cut food assistance. And a choice to insert a $1 trillion bomb into the center of the American healthcare system. That bomb is now going off. Premiums are skyrocketing. The largest cut to Medicaid in American history is on the horizon. Rural hospitals and doctors' offices are already closing. Trump Care has arrived, and it is dangerous and it is deadly. I hear it every single day back in Delaware. Dave, a constituent of mine in Newcastle, pays $350 a month right now for his wife's Marketplace plan. Next year, without the ACA tax credits, those premiums will jump to $1,200 a month. His wife lives with a disabling spinal condition, diabetes, hypertension, depression, and takes dozens of daily medications. Without this tax credit, they will lose their coverage that is keeping his wife alive. People like Dave are doing everything right, but Republicans in Congress continue to fail them. It's not too late for my Republican colleagues to do the right thing, to make a different choice. As has been mentioned, we only need 4 Republicans in Congress to demonstrate courage on behalf of their constituents by signing this discharge petition to force an up or down vote on protecting care. But I'm not going to hold my breath, because while we are freshmen, while we are new, what has become abundantly clear to us in the last 11 months is the only thing that congressional Republicans are more loyal to than Donald Trump is to cutting the health care of the American people. Imagine winning those elections, getting all of that power, and spending all of your political capital on kicking millions of people off their coverage and jacking up healthcare prices for everyone else. People deserve so much better than what congressional Republicans and Donald Trump have offered them. I ran for office after my experience as a caregiver to my husband during his battle with terminal cancer. And I simply do not believe that in the wealthiest nation on earth, any American should have to go without the health care that they need to live and thrive. And so long as there is air in our lungs and breath in our bodies, House Democrats will fight for an America where every single American can get the health care they need regardless of where they live and regardless of who they voted for in the last election. And so with that, I'll turn things back over to Chair Aguilar to answer any questions.
Thank you, Representative McBride and Representative Figures. Andrew?
You think of Haley Stevens introducing articles of impeachment against Robert Kennedy instead?
I think that what Robert Kennedy Jr. has done to the healthcare system, what he stands for, his latest support for decisions that reduce Americans' access to vaccines are deeply troubling from a public health perspective. I understand that members have frustrations and concerns about it. I don't know how successful those measures would be in a Republican-held Congress, but I appreciate that members have a lot of views on this and want to hold the Secretary accountable. He is someone who is an impediment to Americans having health security. I think that's very clear, and the day for accountability will come. I don't know when that is, but the day for accountability for the Secretary and many others of the President's administration will come. We'll see what that looks like, though. Nick?
I want to ask about the NDAA. Do you expect to support final passage of that bill whenever it comes up later today?
We'll see when it comes up. They got to pass the rule first. I think they're having some difficulty with that. If it comes up, well, we've had a caucus conversation this morning. Adam Smith presented the bill to the caucus, and members will make their decisions. I'll wait until the rule passes, and then I'll indicate where I stand on the bill.
This NDAA has a provision in there requiring the Department of Defense to release a video of the strike on the Venezuelan boat, particularly their second strike that killed 2 defenseless shipwreck survivors. And if the Pentagon doesn't do that, then the Secretary of Defense's travel budget will be reduced. So you have now bipartisan support to get this video released. And we need to be asking, the American people will be asking, what is Pete Hegseth hiding?
Michael?
President Trump was in Northeast Pennsylvania last night, kicking off what the administration has described a series of events promoting his economic agenda, his economic policies, pushing back on Democrats' criticism of his role in the affordability crisis. Republicans believe that the more he's out there, the better it is for them and their voters to hear from the president. I wanted to get your thoughts on, do you believe the more that President Trump is out there, that it's advantageous to the case that you all are making about the affordability crisis, given that he's called it a hoax and a con? And just what do you make of the fact that they say that he's going to be out on the road a little bit more, speaking about his agenda and kind of looking to rebut some of the criticisms that you all have waged against him on the affordability crisis?
Sometimes it's a long 16 blocks from Capitol Hill to the White House. Clearly, it's taken the president quite a long time to understand the affordability crisis that we're in. I think the event yesterday was one of the first I've seen that the president wasn't attending a sporting event or something else. But saying that the economy is A+++, calling the affordability crisis a hoax, these are things that the American people just know aren't true. He's lying. House Republicans are lying. They know that. They know that the affordability crisis is at their doorstep. They know it is more difficult to live under the Trump economy than it was previously. And they're holding him accountable. And that's coming through, not just in public polling, but it's coming through in our elections. In every election that we've seen, special elections from last night to Iowa months and months ago to everything in between, New Jersey, Virginia, Mississippi, Georgia, I mean, all of these, Republicans continue to underperform because they have no real solutions. They won't solve the affordability crisis. They're only making it worse, and the American people are smart enough to know that. So I don't think that there's anything that the president can do, because clearly every time he gets in front of a microphone, he's saying something that is an outright lie, and the American people know it. So I don't have any problem with him continuing to go out around the country and to talk about this, because the polling clearly shows that folks aren't paying attention and that they know better.
Pete, can I
Yeah.
add something? Oh,
Yep,
you
yep.
go ahead.
Sarah, then Ted.
Just a couple of things. First of all, the idea that the American people aren't hearing enough from Donald Trump right now beggars belief. I think everyone in this country hears enough from Donald Trump, and having him go out on the road and stand in front of a sign that says affordability isn't changing that. It also doesn't change the fact that they have no plan to tackle the affordability crisis, and that Donald Trump himself has continued to deny this crisis, calling it a hoax. I think his handlers in the White House are making the same mistake that his handlers in Trump 1 made, which is thinking that they can put together these events and keep this president on message in the way that they want him to be on message. He is always going to speak what he believes, and what he clearly believes right now is that he's doing a great job, that prices are fine, that the economy is working well, and that everyone should just go along and get along.
I strongly support President Trump going on the road. Even though he is old and weak and has trouble staying awake at cabinet meetings, I am begging the White House to please send Donald Trump to every swing House district. Many people say that Congressman David Valadao in California would love to have Donald Trump visit. Donald Trump can talk about how tariffs are helping the farmers. He could talk about how the racial profiling by ICE is helping Valadao's constituents. And he could talk about how the Medicaid cuts are owning the libs in David Valadao's district. I would love for Donald Trump to go to every House swing district.
I think that sums it up. Yeah.
Have any members of House Democratic leadership talked to the GOP leadership in the House about the healthcare vote? Why do you think they're staying strong on their argument? Because it doesn't seem like there's a lot of flexibility on their part.
I can't speak for other members of the leadership team. I can speak for myself. I haven't had any conversations with House Republicans. They continue to recycle old priorities, the priorities that they laid out today in their conference meeting and in front of all of you previously, are all old ideas, 10, 15-year-old ideas that reflect where Republicans are, that basically say if you have money, you can put some money aside to help with your health care. It does nothing to address the millions of people in Alabama's 2nd District who are losing their health care, and around the country. Democrats are fighting for them. They're fighting for people to keep their health care, and none of the ideas that Republicans put out today move the needle to actually help the American people keep the health care that they have.
Can I just say something? Yeah. I'm sorry. Just briefly on that, with regard to the Republican conference's proposals, quote unquote, on the healthcare affordability crisis, the one that they created, this is like an arsonist setting fire to a house and then bringing a garden hose to try to put out a 5-alarm fire. These are no solutions to actually grapple with the healthcare crisis that they created. The Republican healthcare plan was the big ugly bill. The Republican healthcare plan is Trump care, which we are living under right now. The largest cut to Medicaid in American history, a massive cut to Medicare, in action, letting the ACA tax credits expire. That is the Republican healthcare plan, and that has been the Republican healthcare plan for decades. Because every single step of the way, Republicans in Congress have tried to prevent progress in expanding access to healthcare and have tried to cut healthcare for the American people. And it certainly stands in stark contrast to our proposals, to extending the Affordable Care Act tax credit, to expanding Medicaid, to improving Medicare, and to guarantee that every single American can get health care without breaking the bank.
In the middle of this affordability crisis, there is growing concern that the construction of these AI data centers in rural communities specifically could be increasing the cost of utilities like water and electricity. Do Democrats see this as a priority? And if so, is there any bipartisan consensus that this needs to be addressed?
Democrats see rising utility costs under this Republican administration as a priority. We see the data, we see the numbers go up. Vice Chair Lieu, I'll let speak, is convening some stakeholders to speak with members of the Democratic Caucus on these issues. We think rising utility costs are a concern for the American people. One of the first things the administration did was to gut any renewable energy proposals that the previous administration had in place that would have diversified our energy, would have lowered costs, made significant investments. Those types of things, and his opposition to an all of the above strategy really harms the American people and is going to continue to rise their costs unless we address it. And Democrats have ideas and strategies on how to do that. But we're going to need to ensure that we have the gavels in order to deliver on that.
Sure. There are a number of reasons why electricity costs are surging under the Trump administration, outpacing inflation. The tariffs, for example, do increase the prices of many products, some of which these utilities do use. In addition, the Trump administration canceled a number of green energy projects, and when you reduce the supply of energy available, you're going to drive up costs. And yes, it's also true that AI data centers also do use a certain amount of electricity. And when you take this in combination, you have electric costs surging. And again, what is Donald Trump doing? He's simply rage tweeting on his social media posts and saying batshit crazy things.
Speaker Johnson today said that Jasmine Crockett running for Senate is the greatest thing that happened to the Republican Party. The Republicans have tended to make, or try to make like a boogeyman of people in the Democratic Party. We saw it with Mamdani during the shutdown, and now with Crockett. Do you have a reaction to these comments that they're making?
I think Speaker Johnson is trying to do anything he can to distract from the majority that he's seen, that we see dwindling, and it's like sand falling through his hands. He just can't keep a hold of it. He sees that. He would much rather talk about a Senate race than he would the Georgia House races that Republicans lost, or the mayor's race that the vice chair mentioned, first time in 30 years that a Democrat has been mayor of Miami. He wants to distract and take away from this because he's losing his grip on his majority. That much is very clear. So the more that Speaker Johnson wants to talk about the national landscape and the Senate environment, I absolutely support, because he's losing his majority next November, if not sooner. Mike in the back.
Thank you. On the ACA subsidies, yesterday we saw yet another plan to extend them 2 years, not the 3 years you want, and it's got some eligibility limits and some HSA promotion language in there. But it does have the advantage of being bipartisan. Jared Golden's on it, Tom Suozzi, a couple others. Do you see a scenario where if the option is no extension of subsidies, or you guys have to swallow a shorter window and some of the reforms that you don't like, but do you see a scenario where that is the vehicle that can actually get something done? No one has signed on to your discharge petition from the Republican Party.
We want to help the American people. We want to pass laws that help the American people. The House and Senate, Democrats both have the 3-year proposals that you mentioned. There's 2-year proposals. There's 1-year proposals that are bipartisan. I understand that. We're not negotiating, here in this room. Let's see what the vote totals, look like. I don't anticipate that either of the Senate proposals has 60 votes. Democrats have said we'll go anywhere, we'll talk to anyone if it delivers support. If it supports our health care for the American people. That is our policy. We feel that the 3-year proposal is the best, fastest, most certain way in order to do that. But we're willing to have conversations, and members are having conversations as you see with that outline. And we support members having those conversations. Right now, let's see where the vote totals are. That group is growing. It is bipartisan, as you mentioned, but it is nowhere near the 200 plus members that we have on our bill right now. So let's give it some space and some time. But our focus, our North Star, is always going to be, how do we deliver the most help to the most people? And that's what it will continue to be. Shamar? Yeah, Shamar.
And I'll add to that, in the lead up to and during the shutdown process, the one message that was consistent coming out of the Democratic Caucus was, come and talk to me. Meet us at the table. Let's discuss a way to keep healthcare affordable for millions of people. The fact that we're even getting to the point now where there are bipartisan solutions, I think, is an outcome, or bipartisan proposals, rather, is an outcome of that messaging and of that belief and of the strategy of Democrats to be willing and open. It's not even a strategy; it's a core principle, right? Just come to, like, we all got elected to Congress to come here to try to hash out different deals in different ways where we understand we won't get everything we want. They understand they won't get everything they want, but we should be able to come together as adults in a room and come up with solutions that literally will save lives in this case. That is so drastically necessary. So I think, that is progress that we're seeing those sorts of offers on the table. And I think it's progress that's been driven by the leadership of the Democratic Caucus and the position of Democratic members of Congress.
One of the things that it also speaks to is, where is Speaker Johnson, on this? His members are clearly speaking out against him by supporting these bills, 1 year, 2 year bills. He is nowhere to be seen. That's why discharge petitions happen. That's why discharge petitions have been successful, is because he cannot lead a group. He cannot keep them on the same page because they know his North Star is how to decimate the ACA and hurt the American public, and they know that that's not popular. They're just waking up to it, and they're trying to do something to send a message to their communities that they're aware of it after they voted for the largest Medicaid cut and health care cut in American history.
Well, a quick follow then, if I could, because Mike Johnson is not going to bring the Fitzpatrick bill to the floor because, as you say, he doesn't support the subsidies that you do. But Fitzpatrick would need Democrats to sign the discharge petition to force it around Mike Johnson. Would you guys be willing to sign the discharge petition if the 3-year plan doesn't reach the 218 threshold?
Look, let's see what the 3-year plan delivers on the discharge side. I haven't heard specifically if Congressman Fitzpatrick and the other Democratic sponsors are ready to discharge their bill. So there's a couple steps here before we get to that point. But like Shamari said, look, the American people know that the Democratic Party supports healthcare. We want to deliver support to as many people as we can to avoid this catastrophic cliff that Republicans have created. Unfortunately, Republican leadership doesn't want to meet with us or talk with us about it. So we'll see what the member-to-member conversations will yield. Last question.
On the video of the boat strike, Representative Mike Rogers announced the investigation in the Armed Services Committee has concluded. What are you expecting from this investigation?
Well, the administration needs to brief all members of Congress. Some members of Congress have been briefed. I think all members need to have access to the video and to a comprehensive briefing in a classified setting, as well as whatever report is done by the House Armed Services Committee needs to be available for all members to look at and to view. As the Vice Chair said, there are some accountability measures within the NDAA and withholding parts of Secretary Hegseth's budget until the information is released. That's a good start. We need more of this information, and we need to ensure that we understand what the focus will be moving forward as well, and if there are any changes to policy that the Secretary has conveyed to his combatant commanders. Thank you so much.